I'm interested in showing you the pen tool and give you this file that it's in the description, so you can download that and open it. And when you open it, you might need to use Control Plus to zoom in. It's probably really small. You need to zoom in, and you might need to use your scroll bars to get it into view. And once you do, let me just kind of show you some of these pen tool techniques. And I kind of gave you these lines to follow along with. But here's my pen tool. This would be the color of my pen. So I'm going to just change the color since there's a black line on. And it didn't change it. So now I have a blue line. But if I start off just using the pen tool, so again, the pen tool, use the letter P. It might be on one of these other symbols. I want to make sure I'm on the pen tool. And the pen tool is a straight line by nature. So if I click and click and click, I can double click when I'm at the end. And now I have this shape that I just made. And that's the simplest way to use a pen tool. And if I want to, this is the stroke of it. I can give it color, or I can switch this so that's the fill of the color. So that's the simplest form of the pen tool. But graphic designers would tell you that the pen tool is probably one of the most important tools to get used to, but it does take some practice. So if I want to make this swirly line here with the pen tool, to get started, I click and hold. I want to drag my line goes up. That's the first arc that so when I click, I want to drag in the direction I want my first arc to go in. And now I have, like, I'm just moving my mouse around and it's connected. It's tethered to that original anchor point. So I need to kind of make another anchor point, but when I do, that pink line helps me out to know that I'm directly across the line, like I'm parallel to it. So when I get that pink line, I'm going to click and hold my mouse button down. I'm not just clicking, I'm holding so that it's dragging the arc. And so you can edit, and while my button is held down, I can change the direction of the arc and modify the arc. So it's using the fill. So I still have my pen going here. I'm going to just change that to the stroke, and it's still connecting the pen, so I didn't lose anything. And now I'm going to keep going. I just click every time I want to click and hold to make the arc, click and hold to make the arc, click and hold to make the arc. Now I don't want to go all the way back to the beginning. I'm done here. This time I don't want to double click on the end. That would be a huge problem, but I'm done with the line. So to get out of here, I'm going to right click, and that might do it, but I always like to hit the black arrow to get off of it. And so now I have a path. I have a path that I can do something with. It takes a little practice to get used to. And if you need to, you can delete this line or try another line, try practicing it a couple times up there. I'm going to move forward to this next line. To do this one, I have some stars here to help with directions, but this has a curve and then a straight line, curve, straight line, curve. And that takes a little bit of used to getting. So I'm going to click. I have a curve going downward, so I'm going to click and drag down to that green star, click and drag up to the purple star, and I need to redirect it a little bit, not quite on target, but it wants to curve. So how do I flip from a line that's curving to a straight line? So I'm going to go back to the anchor where this ends, click. I just tapped my mouse and now it's a straight line. So I changed the direction. It's not curvy anymore, it's straight. And now I need to go from a straight line to a curvy, and by nature this just wants to be straight. So to change it to a curvy line, I'm going to go back to the anchor, but this time I'm going to click and hold and drag up towards the green star, because this curve is going upward from that point that I was on. So now I'm going to go over to the next, because I have my curvy line. And the stars are just reference. You kind of want to head to that area. Again, I need a straight line and it wants to curve. So I'm going to go back to the anchor point and just click. I didn't go back to the right anchor point. So it made an extra line. So I had to undo, Control Z. And now I have a straight line again. I can go to the next point and I have a straight line, but I need a curvy. So I'm going to go back to the anchor. But this time when I click, I'm going to click and hold down and drag in the direction that the arc needs to go, and then I can finish my arc. And then to get out of it, right click. I'm going to click on the black arrow. So I have my path. Practice it again if you need to. The last bit of the pen tool is if I need to change direction. I gave you a little idea here just to see what we're going to do, but I'm going to start this off just like I did in the beginning. So I'm dragging in the direction of the arc, dragging up towards the orange star, but my curve wants to go in this direction, and I need to switch. I need to change directions. I need to switch directions. So I'm going to go back to the anchor, but I'm not clicking yet. I need to hold the Alt key down, and this time I'm going to hold my mouse button down to change directions to the purple star. So now I have my curve going up. So let me do this again. I'm going to go back to the anchor point, hold my Alt key down, press my Alt key right now, hold it down, and now I'm going to click with my mouse and hold it down, drag down to the purple star, and it's going in the direction that I need it to go. So the Alt key is the key on this one. I go back to the anchor, hold my Alt key down while I'm dragging down to this next star, and then I can let go at the star so I can finish my curve. But this is how you can make keep going with a path that changes directions. And I'm getting out of here for one last part of the pen tool. So let's say I have this other line I want to connect to these lines. So I traced something, and I want to connect these somehow. And this isn't going to look good, but just to give you an idea, I'm going to go to my direct select. I need to click on this anchor. I'm going to hold my control key down to click on this anchor of this path. So I need to select the anchors on both paths. And then I can go to Object, Path, and Join. I hit the wrong thing. And now those are joined. So I can do the same thing over here. So I'm going to click and drag that anchor. I'm going to click and drag over both of these anchors. Object, Path, Join. So now that's joined so that I can fill in that object. And that's a little bit with using the pen tool.